process. Mr. Speaker, I would like all the ministers who are here, all the MPs who are here, all the judiciary officers who are here, all eminent people who have benefited from forest number 27. The president talked about water. He talked about water sources. Mr. Speaker, I would like all the ministers who are here, all the MPs who are here, all the judiciary officers who are here, all eminent people who have benefited from forest number 27 to own up and give it back, because that's what the president said. In Kenya, some people were adventurous. They went and built on a water aquifer. President Uhuru Kenyatta showed leadership. Bulldozers went there, dropped them. Let me tell you now, everything that you're doing is an exercise in futility. On the first day of Mr. Hichilema being sworn in, we are coming to demolish those houses down there in 2021.
Member,
that's what's going to happen.
Take a seat. Take a seat.
When we come into power in 2021, we are coming with bulldozers to drop all the houses that you are building there at the aquifer. It is not enough. This place here where there's East Park was one of the water aquifers. It's destroyed. You can go and see there. You brought ShopRite in order to create jobs for South Africans. The South Africans are the same ones who are now doing xenophobic attacks on your own citizens. And you say you are a government.
The majority of Lusaka is on top of a bed.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So that was Honorable Garry Nkombo of the great people of Mazabuka, giving us reasons why mansions built in Forest 27 need to be demolished. And that was during his time in opposition. Right now, he is the Minister of Local Government. And I really believe that the Lusaka City Council has given a 28-day ultimatum with regards to all the, people staying in Forest 27, that those houses are going to be demolished, and there's going to be sanity, because Forest 27 plays a major key role with regards to our environment. And once you get to destroy the environment, right, you can never really get it back. And if we are not really serious, Zambia could potentially become a desert. We could have, the environment is going to be destroyed. So we need to actively protect our environment. So in the meantime, let me also play a very good revealing video about Forest 27. This was done by environmentalist TK Piri. So TK Piri is very passionate about the environment, just like I am, because the environment is very, very important. So here is an eye-opening research on why places like Forest 27 need not to be touched and disturbed. So let's take a look at this.
Greetings, fellow environmentalists, mindset changers, and conservationists. We are just outside Forest 27, and we are at one of the streams that feeds into the Chalimbana River. You will notice that the stream is hardly flowing. You only have water trickling through. Just a few years ago, 2 years ago, you would have water up to that level. 5 years ago, you would have water up to that level. This is March. This stream is supposed to be flowing.
By the way, people are laughing at me. I meant Honorable Garry Nkombo. You see, on Zesco now we have a Mr. Nkombo, so it's very easy for me to mix up the names. I meant Honorable Garry Nkombo of the great people of Mazabuka. That's what I meant.
It's happened to the water. So why exactly is the stream not flowing the way it used to be? Is it because of deforestation? Is it because of human activities upstream? Has someone dammed the stream? Is it legal to dam a stream that belongs to the nation, the entire public? Those are important questions we all need to ask, and we definitely need answers to these questions. as we were discussing earlier, we were talking about how low the water is right now and how little water flow we actually have. Imagine, I mentioned the two levels that are associated with this stream over the last 2 and 5 years.
I really thank you for forgiving me for mispronouncing Honorable Garry Nkombo's name. I didn't mean any malice, so yeah, thanks for forgiving me.
But this stream actually used to go beyond this point. It would actually rise much higher. And to prove that to you, let's look at the second gauge. When the river is full and that gauge is submerged, the next gauge you would use to measure the levels would be this one. Now imagine how we've moved from this to that and even lower. What is going on? What's happening to the stream? What are we doing to our natural resources? We need these questions answered.
What is here? Not the This is the net. Yeah, this is the net. So this are not today. Today let's celebrate what they wake up from. They are doing the picture. Pictures and one of the.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So you can't really get to compromise these things. And I can see a lot of you, for example, Valentin is saying there are better ways to resolve these issues. Valentin, you can't really compromise with the environment. Once you destroy the environment, it's going to take hundreds of years for it to replenish itself. And guess what's going to happen if we get to destroy our environment, if we get to deforest our land, if we get to destroy our water bodies, right? There isn't going to be any rainfall. Maize won't be able to easily grow. And what's going to happen? Mukabe and Salah, there will be a lot of hunger in Zambia. There will be famine. We'll have consistent droughts. And what is that going to happen? Women like you, Valentine, you're going to be running to other countries. You're going to be vulnerable. You're going to be refugees. You're going to be raped on a daily basis because you are foreigners in a different land. So we only have one environment and we only have minimal efforts in order for us to preserve it. What we're supposed to be doing is we should be planting more trees. We should be preventing load shedding and making sure that we don't have any deforestation, because once we get to destroy the environment, it's hard to come back and it's going to take a very long period of time. So having comments such as this, where you are sort of getting to what's the English word again, when you're getting to support illegal things like building in Forest 27, which is a reserve area, a national reserve area where people are not supposed to be building anything, because that particular area was specifically built and designed to play a very good role, especially with regards to our ecosystem. There isn't any compromising with regards to the environment. We have to take the environment very, very seriously and making sure that we get to preserve our natural resources, our trees, our rivers, and we get to keep these things as they are supposed to be, because what happens once we get to destroy them, there will be no returning back, you know. So I really feel it is justifiable for the Lusaka City Council to destroy everything that has been built in Forest 27. Everything that was built in these specifically demarcated areas is supposed to be demolished, because we need to bring sanity and there is no compromise. It doesn't really matter who built there, because they already knew that it was illegal to do that. So I am really for this particular move. And before we get into some more conversations, right, I also want to bring a very important issue with regards to the lower Zambezi, because the lower Zambezi also plays a key role with regards to safeguarding and keeping our environment safe. And there are sort of intentions of building a mine, which is going to further destroy our environment. So let's just take a look at this.
This is not the usual view for everyone. We are here to save nature. We want to save nature for our future generations. We are inviting you to join us on this crusade. Sign the petition and say no to mining in the lower Zambezi. Save the lower Zambezi. Lower Zambezi ni yatu.
These are the hills in Lower Zambezi, and this is where the proposed mine is supposed to be. And I would love for you guys to join the movement to protect this place. It's such a beautiful place, definitely part of our identity as Zambians. And we encourage you guys to sign the petition and join this movement to save Zambezi. Zambezi ni yatu.
I'm here at the beautiful Lower Zambezi National Park. This is one of the most beautiful spots in Zambia and in Africa. And I would like generations from now to be able to enjoy this spot with nature as I'm enjoying today. However, it saddens me to hear that there is a proposed mining project to be undertaken in the Lower Zambezi National Park. We say no to mining in the Lower Zambezi National Park. I invite you to join the movement and sign the petition and say no to mining in the Lower Zambezi. Zambezi ni yatu. Zambezi ni yatu.
There are no words in the human vocabulary that can adequately describe how beautiful this place is. I think it's the duty of every single solitary Zambian to at least visit the Zambezi once. Once you see it, you'll never forget it. Let's fight this idea of bringing a mine here. It's almost unconscionable that they would even think of doing that. When you see this place, you know that that's the wrong thing to do. Join the movement. Sign the petition and say no to mining in the Lower Zambezi. Save Zambezi. Safe Zambezi.
I love nature. Nature is beautiful. Nature is glorious, and nature is refreshing. It is gold. Nature provides us with the beautiful plants that we see, the land on which we walk, the mesmerizing waters, and the glorious animals. Nature takes care of us by providing the resources on which we thrive. So if we keep taking and taking and taking, then we will have nothing left. So let's give back to nature. I invite you to join the movement. Sign the petition and say no to mining in the Lower Zambezi. Zambezi ni yatu.
Okay, so there you have it. We need to protect our environment at all costs. Youth advocate wa Mukavushi constituency, Kavushi graduates. Welcome to the program. How are you doing, my brother?
Yes, Mr. Muna. How are you?
I'm very good. So, as you can see, Honorable Garry Nkombo of the great people of Mazabuka promised Abantu ati once they get into power, they are going to do what they are planning to do. So there has been a 28-day ultimatum with regards to PF, or rather mansions illegally built in Forest 27. What is your take?
Okay, before I just answer to that, looking about the comment or maybe the video which you have just played, efo ndanda nishi muzambia basenda fya bakankara na basambokula panga madvets ayo cause yo forest cause yo Zambezi yo ni mumpanga yaba so efira ndanda okula bonfya fya abantu momene mu adverts inefuna ali ambokufukanya muri bonfya oro in fact bachitambala bakulu nokuba balekere okuba pa Facebook na pa social media ambeni kurabura kwa mayouths kufamu ko kwini kuzambezi ko kwino ko yabira twarishwa bonsoko yabako nga bagitwara ko nango mayouths babura bakulya kwini itsungu kwa chali shupo kusambirisho mu na ngade lenyi ngabomba
bakabushi graduate pa social media tabakanya batakwa bati umukuru mwache chisolong message okweteri important and then why abantu abaishi because so that it can carry a heavier message. Umuntu ngatawaishi because you can't really endorse a product because tawaishi because wala pangashani impact, so that's why they use people who are known so that the message can carry more weight. Not ibasa leta fyo muntu di once it fipanga sense. So that's why even footballers like Neymar, Cristiano Ronaldo, they pay them huge sums of money because they've got an impact in society. So bakabushi abo pera hapo toami kanza hapo mutonto nkanyepo sana, but anyway, carry on.
And another message before Mr. Moon, I don't know if you allow me, therefore coffee okuyirishanya pama scrap metals. I think now in Zambia most of the youths, they are unemployed. Now what they have started doing is that nabambokula ingira mayanda okula ibama mita na amapompi baletwala kuma scrap metal, so abantu amapompi na ashutaoka sana kumyesu kuno kabushoko ndeme ba Mr. Mona kuna tukwata problem yikuru bare ingira ma 23 bare soka ora imi pipe isha menshi na amamita baletwala ku scrap. I even wonder na ku scrap ocho babasuminisha cause kumona omuntu ama get Mr. Mona na truth ya sana kosa. So ama youths besu na bachiramo sana okutwibira. So I also want to appeal to the government so that government yes yatupanga ko yatuafulisha ko in any way. Ina kutina atemwa fina ma scrap metal baya banninga no kuya banninga cause na ashita sana contribute muko na oda ama youths ingaya chinche ine scrap ana mukupepa mufi jenke mofaya mukushita. So for tulesa ngati nombenga takwete mpia abarutuku bayibera abakatata borokio bayibera n'aba scrap romboku aba jenkem. So tulesa ngati mucharo ture kwata amazombi na amazombi aya ngata tukwete rehabilitation center na yambo kushupa sana takwete mpia ya fyamba aisa mukudukura pompi pamia wakabushi graduate aya mukushisha amenshikura turi kafe parubansa na bakanso nshaishwa buno bwino ngata bapitamo. So nomba ififile sikafyako bati mwebene mwebaletu mfapazeti kona mwebene bama scrap metal mube careful because ama scrap nomba tuwale fya bayashite ban cause nayo naora sana emisepera nga basoka ora amapompi ayo baratwala. That's why na Mr. Muno fo tumwena nama Zesco ke boss bareba abantu yakweba batwana kutuma Chinese batwara mufuma scrap metal efine wadabo afepa mutenge pamienu ira service kebo ukuyimbula okuifunya kukapo kulya bayiputura pa mutenge pamienu pali so ba youth nga mwaramba behavior mwara shupa effort turanda polyonse mwara shupa despite nobulwero obu kachinga ni covid shanyu kwe raisa amenshi nomba mwatufunisha pa mapompi nomba tukarata pashani cause bambita tuwa kwa tefshima oro nomba ira government that avoid unnecessary movement the turef manaka buckets wa mkutapa menshuko Mr. Muna nomba na isa kuli yaba Garry Nkombo
Mr. Muna namusha bakabusha fo mwachita bakabusha namusha fo mwachita paso fo mwachita chemwati panganda naba mishta invites right kumwana wa kumwine wa nganda aleli akale mbola imwe asafi kafe mu nganda mwayonkusalude nama mwabika na molu patebo mwachaya.
Yeah, so, sorry, Mr. Moon.
Next time, I'm gonna talk about my topics. See, the reason why I have those topics is because I know there's a sequence that I'm trying to do. Number one, ingira mofe mwamu friji mwasaru denko kumwavika na moru patebo. So yeah.
Sorry.
But anyway, carry on. Just next time, be mindful and at least like show respect for the program and the lineup. Then you can chime in and give your message to the people. That's what you're supposed to do on a respectful sort of thing. Anyway, go on.
Aha, so iyaba Garry Nkombo imwachira ndapoiri pa program list. I think that should be carry on. Because when looking at the Forest 27, umomo bakure fifima ndama plots. Take off at the badia on our forest, but looking at its inhabitants modia. Mama na badia tamfi fintu fia psana. Kura venture ndosho tuchita reserve. Mwana Mr. Monaka. Nomba ba PF bena bali pere ponsa ma plots apali ponse fe. So enofoninga temwa fya kwe bati ba Garry Nkombo firafine baranzire na ene it's actually a good work. Whatever ichitachaba mu plan chifwire cha tobekwa. Last time twayiranzire po pali settlement nomba mu forest omo tetuyo wambo kure nganda. So ina support yo Mr. Mune ife bwino bafwire ba toba because mu forest mudya ichintu ichi chonse chali kwa toko chikala ama plots nga mwapuisho kuipena mu mando mshani muye musere na forest so inakuna support afe era foot not only na forest abani ba Minister of Local Government bafwire futi bamona ama structure baingramo kwali bana bakwire ni ama railroad station nama railroad lines yalya kwali bama plots aya ba illegal. So it's not only ma Forest 27 mweka ba Garry Nkombo mafwire barolekesha na mutu inefo tumachende chendo tumumamana mutuma streams shani aka stream nga kali umafe bena shibasti shapo plot so ponse para turefo abatobe mu Zambia tatufwire ture muneka kwati twalitsikana sana nero fimbi ali ba illegal. So if local government ofo ya isana fie nene ndef support bafwire batoba apata pali plan bafwire batoba. Remember echecharo it was once governed by colonial rule. Tamu alipo fionsefi. That's why number fema blacks that why teka twakwata mano ya kane podion. So fionse veftafia di mu plan bafwire baftoba. For inende sumisha bafwire baftoba. Then looking at the
okay, bakamushi the can't pere kwa bantu bambi twara wera kuri mono mbari. Bakamushi mwari virima sana imwe bakamba imwe. Anyway, Moses, are you there? If you're there, turn on your video, then give us your quick take. 90 seconds, gentlemen. So let's be quick.
Good evening, dear.
Good evening.
Evening, thank you. Good evening, panelists. On the issue of Forest 27 and also Lower Zambezi, my contribution is the statement made by Honorable Garry Nkombo, or even if the days have passed, I know he can't just wake up and do it personally. This is the government following the law, and it requires many ministry or many government officials to undertake procedures to investigate first what had inspired on those things on the Forest 24, so that when they find out, then they are going to issue a statement to the nation, also to carry out and demolish whatever was built on that Forest 24. And the other thing is, I want this Forest 24, if they can come up with a bill in the parliament to amend specifically these things to be given to the government. Let it be the government but not for sale. So even this Forest 24 should be not for sale. Lower Zambezi should be not for sale, specifically for the Zambian government. In that way, we are going to protect our country from this criminality, because I know UPND is today in power. In the future, there will be another party to be in power. But if we are not going to prevent it from this situation where these other former government had led it to give the power to the cadres. May I say this? Because umuntu fyore tontonkanya bwino teta mukusuminisha kwe bati they can build on this ile to provide mumfura pakuba tukwate kwa mensha asuma like Lower Zambezi kulia ku tutite secure tule kwata kwa menshi then barefo kubika ko mine so that Zambia ike kare kwati ni Sahara Desert, something like that. No, it's not good. So to me, I'm proposing mu parliament, once I'm a member of parliament, be it in opposition, ruling party, independent, wakairete po emotion, waka passing bill ila ikapite mu parliament, chikabe cha state, not for sale. In that way, ni swata protect icharo chesu.
Moses, thank you very much. Just stay on the line. We're going to get back to you. I've got some more questions for you. So anyway, D, unmute yourself. Demolition of mansions built illegally in Forest 27. What is your take?
Yes, good evening, panelists. Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Mona.
Good evening.
Okay, on the part of Forest 24, it's the issue that is regrettable because I remember there's a forest in Eastern Province where, okay, I can't say the name here, but that forest, I remember Panji Kaunda came up with it because they wanted to, I think they had even to grab that forest and it was fenced until Panji Kaunda came and strongly condemned that until the government grabbed it. I think this Garry Nkombo needs to talk. This issue just needs to be tabled before going ahead and demolish these houses because there are a lot of people that have spent a lot of money to build those big houses, and then there are people there who are staying. How much did they spend to build those houses? So I think they need to come up with the solution to that, so that next time, even the current government, so next time they should not grow because of power, like Bakuremi because of power, and then start grabbing land by force. So this is an eye opener for the current government. Don't to go the way the PF went. So I think this issue just need to be tabled off so that they see the way forward. Because that Forest 24, it's one of the causes in Lusaka we're having these floods when you have rain. Because I remember there's a lecture on at Hunza who talked about he was condemning why the government had to grab that Forest 24 because they said it is a reservoir where they can help these floods which we experience here in Lusaka, especially the CBD, to go that way. But in this manner, we need to investigate the issue because this issue never just came up prompted. I know, let's grab this issue. Because this city council, they can't say right now, no, we don't know, they never get permission. But when you go there, they have got these papers. They come from council. The same council is saying the planners who are saying they never got permission from us. But when you follow those guys who are there, who have got approached that side, they have got all the papers from the council. So we need to investigate this issue. It's not that the issue, no, we need to demolish these houses. Who was involved? They need to bring those culprits who were involved into book and ask them what was the motive for them to come and grab that forest. Because it's what's one of the causes we're having floods here in the CBD of Lusaka. And then I think on the Lower Zambezi, I think that's the best to come up with the petition, the government to be petitioned not to sell that Zambezi, Lower Zambezi National Park to these miners. That was the approach. This is the best approach they were supposed to take. Even the previous Forest 24. This is the same approach they were supposed to take because this is the petition. That's the best we can go because we need all those. We need these national parks for the future, not just more for the mine. Because when we have this mine, it will bring a lot of it will bring development, but there are a few people who benefit from that. Because even the locals there, they will be disturbed. There will be pollution, water pollution. noisy, everything will be protected. Even the animals from there, they will definitely they'll die because of that. I think that's the best. We should not sell that Forest 24. The petition is 100%. We will go with the percent petition. I think that's my take.
Thank you, D. Thank you, D. So just stay on the line. I have some more questions on the other side. So let's just give more people room and opportunity to talk as well. So Peter, I hope your internet is good and you're ready to go. What is your opinion with regards to the demolition of mansions illegally built on Forest 27?
Good evening, Mr. Muna. Are you able to get me?
Loud and clear. This time
Mr.
you
Muna,
are
good
ready
evening.
to go. Good. This is very good. Good evening. Go for it.
Thank you so much. In Zambia, the problem that we have is that we want to legalize the illegality. When something is illegal, let's call it illegal. If you have destroyed, that thing will never come back. Because now we are trying to compromise. Because maybe kwa livenganda yabakantwa, bali kulamaya ndaya kulu, these people have built, they have spent money. Yes, they have spent money. But don't we have people who are responsible in government to advise? We have got the town planners. Those are the people who plan. Apa paka vechimbusu. Apa paka va hospital. Apa paka vefi. Were those people not consulted? If they were consulted, what was the advice that they gave about the Forest 27? If it truly that is the basin of water, if there is a water, if you destroy it, then it means that you're going to have future consequences, and the consequences might be fatal to the problem with that of and now we are not thinking of tomorrow. And that is danger where we are going. We are destroying this nation. Who has those powers to degazette Forest 27? Abasungu were there during the federal government. They left it. Dr. Kaunda was there for 27 years. He left it. Dr. Chiruba was there. He left it. Dr. Nawasa were there. He left it. Varupia Vasata. But why now? What was the problem which was there?
It seems we lost Peter. So, Brother Jason, welcome to the show. What is your take?
Brother Muna, thank you so much. The viewers, good evening, and the fellow panelists. First and foremost, I just want to echo something very important, because actually I had an opportunity to watch through that video that you premiered this afternoon. And maybe connecting to what we are discussing, I just want to give a word of advice to Zambian, because you know the type of critique that we have in Zambia, whereby when certain individual stand up to speak on behalf of the masses, you know, we start calling them names to call them like Nibaka Mawanu, Shana Shani, Tabakwete Fiakuchita, and the like. You know, I think, Brother Muna, you have a lot of things that you are supposed to do and to organize all that thing. You know, it's not that you don't have things that you other things that you can work on. So we want to inform the fellow Zambian to say, as we come live to speak on your behalf, to discuss actually issues of high importance, it is incumbent upon you, responsible Zambians, actually even to stand with us and support us. If you are not happy with what is happening, it is better that you don't just come online. The best thing, you can use your bundles for other things. Let the people of interest come and see what we are discussing here. So I think now coming back to your question, Brother Muna, to say, is it a good idea for the local government through the ministry, through the administration of Garry Nkombo, to bring down those mansions that are put up in Forest 27? I think, I concur with the idea. It should be done. Those things are to be demolished because they were legally done. And the question that I ask myself is, do we have Environmental Council of Zambia? Is there such ministry? And for sure, we here, it is being talked about. Do we have planners in our country? Yes, it is there. So who did they consult when they started doing all those things? Amagazeti yalabe ne bapangire, because you know what happens actually, nga mwasenda ubutungulushi as animal farm way. This is actually the implications that come up. But we are advocating actually, and we are rallying behind the government idea to say those things must be put down. Ngefranjire previous speaker to say, if we are going to look at individuals who have owned those properties in Forest 27, you know, it is not going to be fair to us as a country, you know, because that area is a reserve area. It is an habitat for a lot of nature, wild animals, trees, a lot of things. Even there, it is a source of some water there. So if we start saying we don't have to do that, let us see the best way to do that. No, those things must be demolished. It has to be done the way they can do if it was the commoner who had put up those structures in Forest 27. So it doesn't matter whether it was the former VP was put that thing there, because you know what people must understand is environment itself, nature fights back actually, and when nature fights back, it is us actually and our children who are coming. Not even our children cannot even be there. It can also catch us. It can catch us because nature actually fights back. But if we say, let us try to fight nature, when nature fights back, tafiba we know. So Garry Nkombo, let him stand his ground and let other ministries come in. The Ministry of Environmental Protection, it has to come in. Let the Ministry of whatever planning also comes in to back that motion. Because if other ministries are going to give a blind eye to that suggestion, you know, it will mean that we are just going to put ourselves on the spotlight, because you know people are watching. Look at what is happening in these other districts that are closer to Botswana. Abatonga bali sa brother Muna bali butuka kumapanga. Most of them they are in Mpongo. Why? Because desert yali saire kulafi. We are talking of disturbing the environment. When we disturb the environment and when the environment reciprocates, it is actually us who are going to be pushed actually in the corner. I think that's what I can say for now.
All right. Thank you, Brother Jason. As usual, profound. That's why I love having you. You come with the data. So anyway, Mr. Mukeni, Brother Moya, unmute yourself and give us your contribution. We're all good. The viewers are good. Just go for it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Muna. I'm very interested and very encouraged about this topic, and I'll just go direct to your question about whether it's a good idea or not. You see, this time around, every time when we try to look at the individuals who have participated in the land, and we try to favor them maybe just because, no, she was our VP, and I must say that she's not the only one who has built that. And when you look at the capacity of our VP, I think even if that building is to be demolished, she still have money to even build somewhere else. Because I've seen some situations where a poor person in our compound here who were given some buildings illegally by cadres, those buildings have been demolished, but you find that such a person is in a poor state. So what we should do is that at least let us walk the talk, let the buildings be demolished so that it can be a big example to even the leaders that are still coming. look, from time to time, from 2015, this land has been MPs, especially when you talk of Garry Nkombo, he has been singing this in Parliament to say, please, that place should not be touched. And some buildings were still at foundation, but they kept building while when they were able to hear discussions and debates in the Parliament. So I think somehow they were arrogant because they didn't want to hear from us Zambians. Zema has been giving recommendation there to say no one should build there, but why? So I think this time around, let these people be taught a lesson so that the next time it should not be me or it should not be Muna to go that way. Because some they felt they are untouchable. And this time around, let these buildings be demolished without any favor, without looking at any individual. Thank you very much, Muna. I think let's give others again to have a talk.
Profound. I like the diplomacy there. So thank you. So let's pass it over to Mr. Ipanga, Brother Emmanuel. He always comes with the hit, just like Brother Jason. He never disappoints. Good evening, sir. And what is your contribution? Just unmute yourself, Brother Emmanuel.
Good evening, Brother Mula, and good evening, the panelists. We thank God that today again we are back on the show with very, very interesting topics. The issue of Forest 27. I think as Zambians, we need to be concerned and very much concerned. From the beginning, there had been a debate in the parliament for quite some time when the current party was in the opposition. We could hear time and again from Honorable Garry Nkombo. I salute him. He used to talk about this, informing, warning his colleagues in parliament from the ruling then. But it's like whatever he used to say and whatever people used to say, the Zambians, the message was falling on deaf ear. And the way God works, his wonders are very, very great. Today, it is the opposite. And still Garry Nkombo standing his ground, we still encourage him to be firm, no matter what. Let the law be applied squarely, whether one was a president, whether one was a vice president, whether one was minister. Let the same law which is applied to most of Zambians who are very vulnerable be applied to these people, so that a signal is sent to those.
Brother Emmanuel, I think we've lost you. Should be the internet. So anyway, at this particular moment, right, everybody has given their initial thoughts. Now, I have a few questions for you, gentlemen. I want to find out exactly what needs to be done to the people who were illegally allocating and authorizing the building of these mansions in Forest 27, because it is very apparent that these particular plots weren't just given out of nowhere. There's somebody who signed on the dotted lines and somebody authorized for this to continue happening. So what type of ramifications should these people face? Because we need to send a clear message to would-be lawbreakers who are going to be conducting illegal businesses and just doing things that are detrimental to the majority of Zambians. So, and what are we going to do about that? So anybody can answer that question. You can raise your hand. So Moses, then we're going to go to Brother Jason. So Moses, go for it. Unmute yourself.
Yes, these people is the council, the planning officer there, and anyone signing on that document should be faced by the the law of Zambia. What it means here, those people who have built that illegally should be demolished, that building. Then these people who allowed these people to build there should face the law. And these people are not other than the council, town clerk, and the planning officer. Also, the minister of should be by then land should be involved on that case. We need these people to answer, and this maybe live proceedings in the court should take place so that as Zambian will be following the outcome.
That's very profound, Brother Moses. Such cases should be broadcasted live on TV so that the people of Zambia can get it into their subconscious that you can't just go on doing things like this anyhow. So this is a very serious case. But anyway, Brother Moses, continue. Then we'll pass it on to Brother Jason.
Yes, including even the permanent secretary, because I understand any ministry, the one who has power to issue of signing is the permanent secretary. So there are a lot of people in connection with this irregularity which has happened on that place. I rest my case.
Thanks, Brother Moses. That was very good and precise. Brother Jason, your take. Unmute yourself as usual.
Brother Muna, what is actually what used to happen? Let us not say what is happening. What used to happen in the previous regime, especially concerning land, it was not good, and there was a lot of confusion to the extent that you discover that some people are even complaining to say, no, I was given a plot. Now this plot, it was discovered that three of us were allocated to. So now you wonder to us to say, are these guys honestly got a database where they refer whatever activities that they are doing to say, okay, we have done this and that. So the Ministry of Lands and the local government, I think they have a very big problem, Brother Muna, and the viewers who are watching. Because, to gazette a particular land, there are a lot of issues that are involved. There is survey. When they survey, they even plan to say, okay, Mseboshikapitomu and the like. And when they do that, when land is allocated to an individual, of course, it is the Ministry of Land now to come in for the issuance of a title deed. So these people who were signing this document, I'm sure Ministry of Lands is involved, the local government is involved, those towny, whatever, the town planners, they are involved. So those people, they should also be taken to task to say, who did you consult to do such and such a thing in Forest 27? They should be asked those questions. Because for them to say they gazette a land to people of higher profile like Abafyashi Besu by Inonge, it means there was proper surveillance per ground. So Tetwalanda Tawe Fetatwa Ishibe and the like by the Ambafio Kula Pofie. So they are big guys, actually, the permanent secretary, like Brother Moses was mentioning, they were all involved. So they should also be asked. They should be brought on board to be questioned to say, what happened? Who did you consult? And how did you alive to start gazetting this type of an area? Because as it is, we know that Forest 27 is a reserve. So these people must be tasked. Because if it's Kakuba Minister of Lands in our local government, I don't know how things have changed so fast, Brother Muna. Because I remember those days our fathers were given plots. Kwalebati, ama plots about to advertise, Brother Muna. It will mean Nishna about takale service. But this time around, that's why Mwalasanga, there are a lot of confusion in the allocation of land. Mwalasanga tama plots na bapela, but there are no roads. Ama plots na bapela, there are no service lines apa ko bakala pshama sewer lines and the like, mwamonaka, because there are standards actually which they are followed. And we may wonder to say, are these guys, the so-called graduates who are graduating from, I don't know, the University of Zambia, the CBUs, are they really qualified to do this type of a job? Because, you know, if you come as a professional, you also have got an upper hand to give advice where necessary. But I'm sure I cannot blame these young people because, you know, we have got this virus in Zambia whereby we are too conservative. Aba actually mbich bachita advising ama planners nama surveyors. But you know, those guys who are already in the system, they start issuing threats to say this is not how it works. And if you start operating like this, you go earlier than you came. So system by brother Muna, yari pena. And that's why even ama standards, they are below par. And actually they are not even followed when it comes to land in Zambia. So those people, there are a lot of people actually involved in this saga, Minister of Land, the local government, they should all be questioned, including their permanent secretaries. Thank you, Brother Muna, I submit.
Thank you, Brother Jason. I think not only questioned, but also penalized, either paying some fines or, facing the wrath of the law. Because just like Chilufya Vuale has said, Zima, Z-E-M-A, did warn these people. We did produce a lot of content. Even environmentalists such as TK Piri did thoroughly talk about these issues. So there has to be some sort of fines or penalties, or the wrath of the law has to visit them, because that's the only way we're going to send a clear message. And mind you, it's not only PF who was building houses there. Even UPND and other political parties, members of those political parties were building houses in those areas because they were buying the land which was illegally allocated to them. So everybody has to sort of suffer the consequences. Anyway, Brother D, give us your opinion.
Yes, on my opinion is, I think I want to recommend the president for putting up the Lands Commissioner, the one who was appointed recently. I think if I'm not mistaken. If you can correct me where I'm wrong on that part, but I heard the president who appointed a certain lady commission of lands. Yes. I think that was that was recommended. I think this could be the reason even the president appointed that, so that they can look into this land issue. And then second, every person who was involved in that land scandal just need to face the law. Because the law, it's already stipulated already. Even Zima warned them. They never responded. So they just those houses need to be demolished. And also, I think I concur with you when you talked about these issues need to be broadcast live on TV so that every person can know and know the consequence of this land. Because this maybe is not the first time we're talking about land. Even the years to go, the future, we'll talk about the land. Previous years, we are talking about the same issue land, because this issue land is everywhere. I think when it's broadcast live, it will be much better, like on the public account committee, which happens in Parliament. I think that this issue, I think, needs to be broadcasted. As also the permanent secretary for the Ministry of Local Government and the Ministry of Land, they need to be answerable to those questions. I think this issue needs to be tabled in that manner so that they know the punishment they will give to these guys. Because these guys, they know the law. These guys, they know the law. They can't say that, no, so maybe these are big guys who know everything, because it's not only PF, it's not only it's not only PF alone, but UPND, any political party, all those big guys, they have got land that side. So I think those guys, they need to face the law.
All right, thank you. Let's pass it over to Miss Miova. And what is your opinion? Good evening. How's the US? You need to unmute yourself.
Oh, am I okay? Hold on, let me see.
Now we can hear you. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Go on.
Good evening, Mr. Muna. I mean, yes, Mr. Muka. Oh no, Muna. Huh? I'm even trying.
It's fine, Muka. Muka, Mula, Muna, it doesn't really matter. Go on.
Mr. Munalula, yes. I don't understand what is happening. I mean, we know those of us that lived in Lusaka around, I think, late 80s and early 90s when Mr. Sata was the minister of lands, I think, or something like that. What happened to those who built their homes on illegal land? Those homes were demolished. 05, we woke up, we went there. I was still a child myself. Maybe I was 17 or 18 years. We ran there early in the morning. People had lost homes. Nothing was left there. And that area wasn't even forest 27 or anything like that. They just built on land that was illegal. Now, what are the consequences of building on illegal land like forest 27? You know, the loss of trees and other vegetation can cause climate change, desertification, soil erosion, fewer crops, flooding, increased greenhouse houses in the atmosphere, and a host of other problems for indigenous people. And so the question you are asking is, what must happen to people that allowed that to happen? Well, I don't think they must just be looked at. They need to be prosecuted because what they did is illegal. This thing didn't just happen out of the blues. No, somebody was there watching while these things were happening. Where was the Ministry of Lands? Where was the minister there who was involved in charge of the lands? So a lot of people need to be prosecuted, because if people aren't being prosecuted for crimes they've committed, it sets a very, very bad precedent, Mr. Muna. People must be held accountable for crimes they have committed, because what they have done now is going to cause, it has caused a lot of damage. Even if they demolish now, the trees are gone. You see what I mean? So they need to be held accountable. They need to be, not just be held accountable, they need to serve time in prison. That's what I see. That's my suggestion, Mr. Mona.
Thank you. Thank you. Gentlemen, any additions before we pass it over to more people? Brother Emmanuel, we kind of lost you. Your internet was giving us some trouble. So just finish your thoughts. Then I'll ask some more questions to my panelists.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I had a technical problem here in Siom. I think network is an issue. This time around, the untouchables are touchables. Those who thought were so unique were above the law. I'm sure this time around they are below the law. The law has to float, not the law to be under, people to float, to trod upon the law. No. The other issue is that the moment the Minister of Lands was appointed, he started to put things in place and to check on the information. After he visited the scene, the Forest 27, when he came back, the data, the information was deleted in all the computers, which made us got worried that at Ministry of Lands, in the offices, the information is gone. Little did they know that things can be done the other way. And I thank the Minister of Local Government, together with his counterpart, Minister of Lands. They have to ensure they have our support, that they should go ahead, no matter what, to ensure that those structures are brought down. After that, it is that area is very, very important. We wouldn't want to lose it like that. I think they should think of planting trees there so that our nature remains intact. We know it has been disturbed, but we can still revive it. We can still revamp our natural resources there so that place is not tempered with any longer. please, we really thank you, Garry Nkombo and your team. Make sure that you put those structures down. They have money, let them find land somewhere else. In Liteta there, they sell a lot of land there. So along Mumbwa Road, they sell a lot of land. So they can go and build from there, not to disturb our water aquifer. We need that natural resource to help us. Otherwise, our Zambezi was going to be disturbed. Our Zambezi River was going to be disturbed. I submit.
Thank you. And just a quick reminder to all our current viewers right now, kindly share this video. I understand the number of you are watching us. It takes only 1 second to reshare this broadcast. Share it on your timeline and in 5 different Facebook pages, because these are very important topics that my panelists are, talking about, and they could have been doing a lot of different things, but they decided to talk about these issues affecting you and I. So kindly take 1 second, share this video on your timeline and in 5 different Facebook pages. The other thing that I need to talk about is we have other preserved areas. Forest 27 is one of the many areas that have been tampered with. So how can we make sure that the government of the Republic of Zambia gets to protect and reserve all these different locations in different areas? Another prime example is Chimutengo Forest. I'm sure there was a lot of stories about Chimutengo Forest and all the people who are allegedly connected to those particular areas. So how and what should the government do to prevent this from ever happening in the future? Anybody to take that question, you can raise your hand and then you can go for it. So Moses, you can go for it. Unmute yourself, then give us your opinion.
I think on this point, I said it earlier. The MPs in Parliament need to pass a bill to protect this government trophies. May I say trophies? Because it is something even our children, our grandchildren, will benefit from. Through doing this, I stated earlier that in schools there were books, were exercise book, even in the textbook where we learn from, which had a death stamp saying not for sale. Even these other Forest 27 and other which you have just mentioned here need to have at least a law to protect, the law which is going to guide even these people who are vying for power, because we don't know, some of them, they don't really go there to save people of Zambia. They go there for their own interest, just like what has happened that side. I think even these people under council, whatever, they were just commanding maybe. Since the VP or whatever, I'm just giving an example, as directed to do this, then like you, my fellow panelists there, I'm just maybe...
Okay, it seems we lost him there. Brother Jason, give us your point. Unmute yourself.
On the issue of finding a lasting solution to the protection of these various reserves that we have, actually land reserves that we have. I think one of the contributing factor, Brother Muna, I feel it should be one of these incentives actually that is given to these the so-called councillors, because it is like each one who stand as a councillor, there is that provision to say he or she has to own land. And the way they own this land, it is not like the town planning comes in and share these places to these people. They are just told to say, go and find somewhere where it is vacant. And once the land is vacant, Brother Muna, when somebody reports to say, oh, there is this area, and sometimes what they do, they don't even inform the offices before they even table the minutes in the chambers. You discover that plots have been started demarcated, they start subdividing this piece of land. By the time they come to legalize this plot, somebody has already snatched that area. So I think this issue of giving councillors to be demarcating land, I'm sure it should be discouraged, because actually it is one of the reasons why there are a lot of land wrangles in Zambia, because it is like there is no control whatsoever. Like here we have cases, Brother Muna, whereby somebody actually was a councillor, and he was, I don't know what happened, he was demoted, I don't know if he was suspended, but there was this land which was actually gazetted for a school because the council, they gave plots in a medium dense. There was a land which remained in the middle for the school. But right now, as we are talking, Brother Muna, people are building on that same piece of land. And whoever you ask is answering to say, no, niba cancel about pere. But where are the papers? They are answering to say, no, the councillor is saying is going to help us get the papers from council. So I'm sure one of the best ways that the government can use is to stop using land as incentives for the councillors, even the mayors. Let them find other things. Actually, this time around, councillors are better off. They are even on salary. They are getting paid. So let them own land as every Zambian, as every Zambian access this land. If they advertise, let them apply. Let them not be like it is not a good way of saying go and look for a land. If you find any bare land, you are going to have it. If you look at the planning of these Macolonial masters, it was in such a way that at least after a compound, they leave a park for other amenities. But Mwalasanga, Nama parks they are given. As a result, children, they don't have, the youths, they don't have areas, Nama grounds, Brother Muna. They don't have areas whereby they can go and exhaust their energies. So we are saying this issue of giving land as incentive to the civic leaders, it has to be abolished. Actually, it can be one of the effective ways to fight these land wrangles that we are witnessing today. I submit.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's pass it over to Brother Moya. Brother Moya, give us a quick take. What should the government do to ensure that this doesn't happen in the future ever again? Unmute yourself, then proceed.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Muller. Just to be quick, you see, I'm from reading the message from Isaac Mbewe, who said that lawlessness always begins with the leaders. Look, the vice president is the head of the DMMU, disaster management and mitigation. But you wonder because the DMMU have been submitting reports management agents to say there are some lands that should be reserved to avoid these climate changes and everything. But you can ask yourself to which extent that even the head of the DMMU can also sit and allocate herself a land in those areas that are restricted. So I think all we can do to protect our asset and everything, our land, is to first deal with the leaders themselves. So as we are going to see these buildings being demolished, and also these guys who were giving these people land being persecuted and taken to court, and some be arrested, some pay off, I think it will send a message to the leaders of tomorrow. So please, this time around, let the new government make sure that everyone involved must be touched. There should be no any sacred cow that should just go like that. So these laws that we make, they can't work if the leaders themselves take things personal, feel that they cannot be touched. Therefore, let us see this example. Let these people face the law, and if anything, those who were allocated the land in those areas and those houses that are going to be demolished, I think they should be also protected by the law, whereby they should go to the court to sue those who gave them lands in those restricted areas, so that these cases should be dealt one by one, so that each person involved, because I believe they made a group, and I feel they agreed to say only certain individuals can have access to such lands. Not everyone could access. And I believe if Mr. Muller, or if personally I went there to claim to say, no, may I have access to this land, I would have been given a reason to say, no, these areas, water aquifers, what, no one should access. But they shared it for themselves, thinking that maybe they will be there for years. The law is in their hands and everything. So please, there is no better protection that we can do apart from making sure that the law is stiff, it doesn't spare anyone, so that everyone can fear. I think that is what I can submit, Mr. Moore.
All right, thank you. Thanks a lot, Brother Moya. So my next question is, a lot of other people are talking about compensation, saying these people who built these mansions need to be given either new land, or they need to be compensated with money to sort of recoup everything that they are going to lose. So what is your take on that? And my other question is, what type of action do we need to see from the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, which is, by the way, a very new ministry that was recently created in order for them to, tackle, or rather help Zambia tackle the issue of climate change. So what exactly do you need to see? What type of information and action do you want to see from the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, the new ministry in Zambia? And do you think these people need to be compensated for the houses and the property which is going to be destroyed in Forest 27? So Peter, you can go for it. Unmute yourself and then go for it. Yes, unmute, then go for it. Come on, Peter, we're wasting 30 seconds. All right, okay, while Peter is and trying to unmute himself, who can go for it? Who else do we have? I see Mrs. Mayova is back. I don't know which one is working. Mrs. Mayova, did you hear my question? All right, she's also getting ready. So D, you can go for it. Unmute yourself, then proceed with the question. All right, okay. D has also left. Brother Jason, go for it.
I think, Brother Muna, there shouldn't be any compensations to irregularities, because, then it will mean to say, what are we doing as a country? Because those compensations, who are going to compensate them? Because we are talking of taxpayers' money. Because if we say some people, they went into Forest 27, they actually vandalized that nature, they should be charged for vandalism. So it is them actually, on top of demolishing those properties, they should also be fined on top of that. There is nothing like compensating these people, because actually they were acting out of ignorance. They assumed that they are going to be in power forever. They felt they were unshakable, they were untouchable. Now the way time is, that's why I love time. Time has come for these people to learn a lesson. There is nothing like compensating them. Brother Muna, we need to be fair as a country if we should see ourselves seeing some developments. There is no way a commoner has just built on not even in Forest 27 on an illegal land. They have demolished that structure. Are there any compensation to that demolitions? If we might ask, if the government has never ever compensated the previous demolition that we have witnessed that were happening on illegal lands, even in Forest 27, there is nothing like talking of compensations. Actually, these people must be taken to task. They should be demolished, those properties, and at the same time, they need to be fined for the disturbance of nature and actually for vandalism, because that is a government property. Thank you so much.
All right, so we pass it over to Brother Emmanuel, then Brother Moya. Unmute yourself, then go for it.
Thank you so much. I concur with Brother Jason. Compensation for what? When you look at these guys, that land was gazetted, then they later degazetted it. What was the reason behind that? If they had their selfish interest to grab that land, and which they did. So the warning has been given, and they were told in advance. That was a reserve. They were not supposed to touch that land. So compensation, maybe if the government is lenient, we try to ask in the office of the vice president to somehow, after demolishing their properties, they give them a bag of meal each. Then that's fine for them. Otherwise, they are supposed even to face the wrath of the law. So that next time we send this message, strong message, to the would-be offenders in future, including the UPND and whichever party, because PF was doing this with impunity. They knew what they were doing. That was illegal. But they went ahead thinking that they will be in power forever. So compensation should not be there. Should not be there. Then the Ministry of Green Economy, my suggestion, my proposal is that they should have a program to start, taking care of such places which have been tampered with. Our natural resources have been tempered. So they should have a program in place to start doing planting of trees. When they do this, they should at least identify which areas have been tempered and which areas need quick attention. So Forest 27 needs quick attention, and they should have a deliberate policy of tree planting. And this, Mr. Muna, it will create employment for the youth in the country, because it will be a very big program where they will be able to identify all these, forest reserves, land reserves, and so forth. So they create the planting of trees will really create job opportunities, direct and indirect. I submit.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's pass it over to Ms. Mayobo. You can unmute yourself. Go on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're unmuted now.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Yes. Now, Mr. Muna, here is what I have to say. Demolish, prosecute, and no compensation. Because we know what these people did. They were bribing, they were overpowering the people in those offices to purchase the land. So no compensation. So that way, next time they will learn to say, if we purchase land on illegal settlement and build an illegal settlement, it shall be demolished and we will lose. And then when it comes to, I don't know if you said the green economy, let them hire the youth to start planting trees on all these forests that have been tampered with. And when they do that, they'll have a lot of employed youth, you know, getting paid to work and restore what was destroyed by these people who were there before. And the government must also pass a law and make it a crime to sell land, and to also buy land, you know, is illegal, because there's two people there. There's not only one people going to be involved in this illegal activity. No, there's two people. There's that person who is going to approach someone and bribing them to do something that they know is illegal. So if you're going to bribe someone, you also must be held accountable and be prosecuted, because you're also committing a crime. And that person who's also accepting a crime, I mean a bribe, is also committing a crime. Those two people must end up in prison. We don't want a repeat of what just happened. Look at what happened in Zambia. Zambia is in a mess because of what happened. And if we don't do anything and keep on saying, because I've seen some people saying, oh no, people need to be compensated. Compensated for wrongdoing. You don't compensate wrongdoing. You prosecute people for wrongdoing. That's my contribution, Mr. Mona.
Thank you, Brother Moya.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me just quickly talk on issues of compensations. I feel compensations could be done if these guys were not in a cartel, because if these guys who are building are not the victims of these areas or of illegal activities, we could agree. For example, let's talk of these companies, the real estate and everything. They sell me a land. Then they are the ones who knows their demarcations and everything. Then they do illegal activity to sell me. And if my structure is destroyed, then I'm going to sue the company, so that the company should compensate me by giving me a land illegally.
Yes, but now, Brother Moya, that the compensation is going to be done by the company that sold you the land illegally, not the government of the Republic of Zambia.
Yes,
it's between you and the person or the company that sold it illegally, not from the coffers and the taxpayers, money. That is what I'm talking about. Now, when we look at this Forest 27 and the like, and these guys a group. They even agreed to share, and they were even making arrangements of protecting themselves, because they thought maybe they will be ruling Zambia forever. So when it comes to them, no one is going to compensate them, because I believe each and everyone, be it a foreigner or whoever, when you go into another country, you have first to learn the rules of or the laws of that country, for you to make sure that even when you buy, you sell, you know what to do. Now, in this case, I believe, and I repeat this, I said it in the first place to say, if Mr. Muna, if by then you went to these guys to ask to build or to have access to this forest, they would have denied you, saying, no, these places, they are restricted and everything. But to them, they felt they are untouchable. Therefore, there is no any compensation that can be done, because they knew what they were doing, and they were just doing things deliberately, thinking they are untouchable. Therefore, the rule or the law must reach them. And I feel they should also be charged. After demolishing their buildings, they should be charged again, because I've said this again. The vice president is the head of the DMMU. How can she intend and she accept to build in those areas? So they were taking the law in their own hands. Therefore, I think they should be not only the punishment of demolishing, but they should also pay something, so that it sends a message to the new ministers of local government, the Garry Nkombo himself, to say next time
they should not acquire assets on illegality measures and everything, thinking that they are owing, they are going to rule Zambia forever. So that is what I can submit, Muna.
All right. Okay. So just a quick reminder to the viewers, kindly share this broadcast right now because it really helps us reach more people and it helps motivate us because we are doing this so that the people of Zambia can get to benefit. So it's not really about us. And just like I keep on telling you, my panelists really are busy and they are taking time from their busy schedules just to talk about these things that collectively affect us as Zambians. So the least that you can do is help us grow by sharing this live broadcast on your timeline and in 5 different Facebook groups. So share, and help us grow. So ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, of course, we just can't really continue talking about saving the environment when we have consistent load shedding. And when we have consistent load shedding, right, people have got no other option but to buy charcoal. And charcoal is obviously derived from cutting down of trees. So what should Zambia do as far as innovation is concerned? Are we going to have any other alternatives to, energy, electricity besides the charcoal that we are consistently getting from the cutting down of trees? Why are there no other alternatives to, electricity? And how can Zambians innovate and find other solutions besides cutting down of trees, which further brings about, the production of charcoal? So how can we get to solve this particular nation as this particular problem as a nation? So who can go for that one? Yes, Brother Emmanuel, you can go for it. Unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Brother Muna. First and foremost, we need to realize that really the charcoal burning has completely turned most of parts of the country into some desert of some kind. As we are speaking, certain parts of the country are experiencing low rainfall due to such activities which have been carried out by people. But also we should look at a situation, why is this happening? It's the poverty. Mostly it's the poverty in the rural area where people have nowhere, have nothing to do. They don't have anywhere else where to lay their hands upon to earn an income. So as we try to find a solution to stop this, but we should also find what should be provided for these people, for them to stop burning charcoal to earn a living out of it. What is the government doing? So there's need for the government to, first of all, look into the well-being of these people who are burning charcoal. What programs or what help are they going to receive? The government should provide sustainable help to these people. After that, then they should now put some mechanism to inform the same people which the government has helped, to say, now since we have helped you, we do not need to see you tampering with trees. We want now you to do away with the trees. We have helped you this. Then also to find the source of energy. Not only Zesco. Zesco has been a disappointment in so many areas. The issue of solar, sometimes also solar, it is something to do with when you don't have sunshine, then you have a problem. So there are so many innovations which we have been seeing. Is it 2 weeks ago, I was seeing the Minister of Science and Technology, Honorable Felix Mutati, went to a certain place. I've just forgotten that place. I'm sure you should be aware about this. There was a stove which has been invented, which is able to help
the people, other than using Zesco or other than using solar. So that is the line in which we should go. Then to replenish what has been harvested, government should embark on the planting of trees. Not only the eucalyptus and those other trees which are found with the forest department, but it's different species of trees, so that at least our land is dressed up, and we'll be able to maintain the green, and this green will be able to give us the green economy. So that is my submission. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Emmanuel. That was insightful. Even the Latin name, you know these Latin names, are we? Thank you for the knowledge. Brother Jason, what's your take?
Yeah, I think everyone is aware that charcoal burning has got adverse effect both on the ozone layer and on the ground, because as they cut trees, which means we cut down on the actually supply of oxygen, which even result in shortage of rainfall in certain parts of the country. And when you look at the process of charcoal burning, it involves the burning. So as they burn, they actually even disturb the organic matter in the ground. Those are bacteria that are found in the soil, which can help actually plants for agriculture to grow properly. That's why the issues of a multi-temene system, those are bad practices of actually doing farming. So now again, like the last panelists have just mentioned, to say, you know, when we come up with an idea or a suggestion to say we need to ban these things, we need to find a lasting solution. Because, you know, we are dealing with the humans, the fellow humans who also want to survive at the end of the day. So it is incumbent actually upon the government, and I'm sure they never just came at that solution, because some people, you know, they need to be trained, they need to be educated, they need to be empowered in some ways, so that they completely move away from charcoal burning for their survival of themselves and the sustenance of their families. Because if we just like say, okay, we have stopped you, stop charcoal burning, the forest, you should stop issuance of actually those charcoal passes, you know, we are going to actually increase on the crime. Criminals will be rising. We are going to have a surge in criminality. So the government actually, it has to come on board to start training these people, to empower these people. There are a lot of ways that the government can find and empower these people. If it is in farming, they should push those people in agriculture. If it is in poultry, they should push those people in poultry. But otherwise, it is a good suggestion, because actually we are talking of environmental protection from the very beginning. We are trying to protect the environment. And in order to protect the environment, we don't have to overlook certain activities actually that can frustrate those campaigns that the government is trying to put across. But the best way to do that, and the best way to achieve, it is to bring people on board, especially those people who are solely dependent on charcoal burning. They should find something that they should be doing. Otherwise, it is a good move. I submit.
All right. So, Brother Moya, give us your take, and then we give our concluding remarks, because we've been running over 1 hour. So give us your quick contribution and your conclusion, and then everybody else gives their well-rounded thoughts, and we conclude and close the show. Brother Moya.
Okay, no, thank you very much. It has been a very interesting topic. Let me just get back on let me talk on the issue of charcoal burning, the cutting down of trees and everything. I'm from Kaoma, Western Province, and especially TBZ. When those who have been there, they can bear witness with me that not even charcoal has become a threat this time around, but tobacco growing. Looking at the rate trees are being cut, you can tell and you can see that in the next 10 years, we are going to be in a great disaster, and also we are going to face a great challenge of rains and these other climate change that are connected to the cutting down of trees. When we talk of finding a way to reduce the charcoal burning and everything, I think it's not just the issue of the vulnerability of those who do the work, those who do the charcoal, but also the demand of charcoal. You see, with these prolonged load sheddings and everything, and looking at the number of people who can access electricity and the capacity of the government or Zesco itself to supply power, we can see to say it has increased the demand for electricity, or the demand for the demand for charcoal. Therefore, I see that the government really needs to work hard so that it can find a way to supply power, and also to make sure that the number of people who use this power increase, and also to make sure that the people, when they are empowered and when they have something to do, or when the company like Zesco itself is in a capacity to make sure that the hours for load shedding are reduced, I think it will help to reduce it's going to help to reduce the demand for. And once charcoal loses demand, even those people who depend on it as for survive, they'll stop. They'll venture into other things. You see, there are some crops that farmers used to grow, but the moment those crops lost market, people have decided to shift to other areas and or field of crops. So it's not just charcoal only, but when we talk of even tobacco growing, even the issue of farming and everything, I think the government should work hard, especially in Kaoma and in Kayema, where tobacco is being grown at a faster rate. I think the government must really supervise and make sure that these companies, they see and they come out with some measures on how they can rectify the problem. Because to be honest, I cannot blame, or I cannot say these companies should be banned, because they have really improved the area. Today, when you go to Nkeyema, you can see that just in the last 5 years, the lives of people have improved, and people are really changing, and tobacco has empowered a lot of people. And we can see to say, if these companies were to be many, they can improve farmers. But the problem is the impact of the tree being cut down. And this time around, the same companies, they are emphasizing for farmers to plant trees. But I can see that people don't follow. The trees, they are being brought to the farmers to replace, but there is no stiff measures that are taken to make sure that those farmers, they plant those trees to replace. So I think the government should also come in to make sure that those farmers, it should be a mandate that they should plant, because the company is busy supplying trees, but the farmers, they don't grow, but they just keep cutting down. I think that is my take on the issue. We just need to make sure that we reduce the demand of charcoal by making sure that everyone has access to power. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Moya. Profound indeed. Thank you. So yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Everybody now has to give their concluding remarks. We close the show and call it a day. So who's going next? Anybody to go next? You can raise your hands. All right, Brother Moses, give us your concluding remarks.
Yes, I had some issue here on the network. On that system or that topic, my contribution is also on the Temene system. Has also contributed not only charcoal burning but also Chiteme system. Now, on Chaco alone, there are some issue, a lot of issue whereby the government need to work on. Currently, the Zesco tariffs has been increased. We don't have that capacity maybe to electrify many houses as per se for us to cut down the charcoal burning. I think also the government should also look for the investor on solar panels and also some like hydro power station in rivers we have where it is conducive to come up with that power hydro. In that way, we can improve and we will protect our country from cutting down of trees for deforestation. This is my contribution.
All right. Thank you, Brother Moses, and have a great night. See you tomorrow at 8 p.m. as usual. So, Brother D, we kind of lost you there due to network issues. Give us your concluding remarks. Round it up, 90 seconds or less.
Okay. I think I will go with the. I think you can hear me.
Loud and clear. Go on.
All right, thank you. And I think I can go. I will talk about the issue of deforestation. Yes, on this, and then I think on this issue we need to talk about the council, Department of Council, and the issue on deforestation. We need to come up with a policy that we need to isolate part of the country. Maybe I can say southern province. This year, southern province, the only part which will supply charcoal, and then the rest, no one will cut down trees. No one will cut down, and then the next, by the time the charcoal come back to southern province, it means this side we have got a lot of trees, because whenever we plant maybe 2, 3 trees, 100 trees, but the way these people they are cutting down trees. When you cut, these people are cutting down trees, it's worrisome. So on that part, deforestation won't end. Again, on the issue of Zesco, we need on the issue of Zesco, I think we need to go with the issue of coal. There is coal that looks like charcoal. We need to the issue of coal that looks like charcoal, so that we move away from charcoal. It needs to be available. It needs to be available to everyone so that it can be easily accessible. Because charcoal is available, it's easily accessible. But for coal, it's not easily accessible. And it lasts longer than charcoal. So I think we can go with the issue of coal so that we limit on the cutting down of trees. I think that's... And then secondly, I can say, I heard your program yesterday on TV Bakwetu. I think you can talk about the blockchain technology. The blockchain technology on the issue of land, so that this land can be gazetted using that technology. So that in case of anyone who attempts to sell those lands, it will show that side. There's someone who wants to attempt on that land. I think you can talk more about that technology so that everyone can be clear when we talk about blockchain. Is it block technology? I think if I'm not mistaken.
Blockchain technology.
Yeah, blockchain technology. Yes, thank you for the correction. Yeah, blockchain technology. I think we can talk more about it so that it's an eye opener, because right now we have got the government, the information and technology government, this department which was introduced, the ministry. I think they can work together with the Ministry of Local Government on this issue, so that every land which owned by government, it is gazetted so that anyone cannot be tampered with it, because it's very difficult to delete the system using that technology than like the recent one where we had under the Ministry of Lands, where some document, some information was deleted in the computer, because that's the way we can protect the land. I think so. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Brother D. See you tomorrow if you're going to be available. 8 p.m. as usual. So, Miss Mayovo, I keep on calling you Mrs. for some reason. Sorry, I meant Miss Mayovo. You can give us your concluding remarks. Let me just unmute you. I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mona. It's okay. You are my
Why are
leader,
you
so I
in the
don't-
dark? Are you having load shedding in America? In
Yeah,
America,
no,
Zesco
you
na
know
here.
here. Mr. Mona, I've been in America for 22 years now. Electricity here does not go. When it goes, it's just with a split second and it comes back. You don't even notice. It's just it's back. So why can't we do the same, Mr. Mona? We have money in Zambia. We just need people who are trained, good enough to know what to do. This load shedding thing is really getting on my nerves. I spend money, I don't know how much, to pay electricity, to pay for electricity. And then that electricity goes for days sometimes at a time. And so people have to use the same charcoal that everyone is complaining about. It's also adding to our problems. You see what I mean? So my suggestion is, let's explore other sources of energy. There's hydrogen, there's coal, there's solar, there's hydroelectricity, there's wave energy, there's biomass energy, there's wind energy. All these things need to be explored to see what we can do to end our problems there in Zambia. And then let's also make sure that this load shedding is ended. This load shedding must end. And make sure that the electricity is brought down. The price of electricity, it needs to be affordable for everyone to afford it. It can't just be for a select few in a country like Zambia. Zambia is a third world country. What does that mean? It means a lot of people live beyond poverty levels. So electricity need to be, the electricity, tariffs or whatever, madness needs to be resolved quickly so that people can afford to have electricity in their homes. And so we need to also look into hiring forest rangers, like the youth who are just going to be there to help plant the trees where deforestation has taken place. Because when we do that, we will have people, and we know these people are getting paid, and their only job is to make sure they are planting jobs, not to make people like the farmers go and start planting trees. Now, if we make the farmers start planting trees, when are they going to be planting their crops? That can't even happen. Let's just hire youth to start and make them rangers, like forest rangers who are just there to plant trees. And then let's also utilize, maybe we can make use of drones we can use those as a means of surveillance to see in, like those secluded areas where people cannot go. Let's use some drones for surveillance reasons to see who is there destroying our land. Maybe that will help, Mr. Moore. That is my contribution.
All right. Thank you, Miss Mayovo. Have a great night. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. You are so very kind to Zesco, and you always support us. Thank you. Thank you very much, Miss Mayovo. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Mona. Good night.
Good night. All right. So we are the last man standing, Brother Jason. Give us your concluding remarks and also close the show. Today you are closing the show. Let me just unmute you. Yes, there you go.
Okay, thank you so much, Brother Muna. It has been an interesting program, actually. And first and foremost, let me just appreciate your effort to come up with such a very beautiful program, actually.
I can't actually do it without people like you, without people like you and all the other panelists. So it's a collective effort.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Well, we are educating our members of the public so that we share one or two things. At the end of the day, we are going to see the Zambia that we desire to see. From my own analysis, today we've just touched actually environmental protection. We've talked about environmental protection because we started from Forest 27, the demolition of those structures that are put there, and the the gazetting of the land and the stopping of charcoal burning and the like. So what I can just say, the campaign that actually Garry Nkombo has brought on board, it has to end up in fruition. The way you put it, it has to end up in fruition, and let him not disappoint the Zambians, because actually we want to see what is going to happen. Because actually, if we are not going to see anything happening, Zambians, they are going to be thinking to say, no, there are certain people who are still thinking like they are untouchables. Those people, they can never be compensated. And when it comes to protecting our environment, we don't have to compromise whatsoever. Let us do the needful. Let us apply the law where it is applicable. And so that everyone who is witnessing, they are able to see that this is what is going to be happening. Because if it has happened to Inonge, it is also going to happen to me. And on the issue of actually stopping the charcoal burners, you know, I don't know, Brother Muna, we had this proclamation of legalizing marijuana. So I don't know if the government can be fair enough. Instead of attaching that higher fee to acquire a license of marijuana, let them ask those same charcoal burners to start also planting marijuana. And the government, let them be buying those things so that they can help these people. Because, you know, if they just allow those people who are like, who have a lot of money to do these things, that's why, you know, the vulnerables, they seem to be like pushed in a corner. And again, if we stop charcoal burning, what are the alternative innovation? You know, look at the way we dispose our our refuse management in Zambia. Why can't we come up with biogas? They have to find places. I remember that time when Chirufia Tayari was campaigning, there is part of Lusaka near the graveyard that side. The road was almost covered with a lot of litter and the like. So let council, the Ministry of Local Government, come up with those ideas of start producing biogas, so that at least as we are campaigning to carbon charcoal burning, we are going to have other cheap alternatives like biogas. I think that's what I can say for now. And let us just be stiff on the issue of land. Every individual actually who are given that responsibility to manage land, let them stand tall and be able to see that things are done properly when it comes to land management. Because if we fail to manage our own land, no one actually is going to come. No one actually is going to come. I think, thank you so much. I don't know if you want me to.
Yes, you need to conclude. You need to close the show and conclude it. I can see Brother Matthew in the background. Yeah, we are going. So, Brother Jason, just conclude. Just conclude and close the show.
Yeah, in my conclusion, I just have actually to ask the government officials, those are from Zambia Environmental Management Authority, the Ministry of Green, the Green Environment, the Ministry of Lands, and the Ministry of Local Government, that you guys were mandated. Actually, we have sent you in those positions so that you protect our country. So can you work together as a team? Never work in isolation, so that at the end of the day, when a land wrangle happen, this one will be saying, no, it was the PS who did this. Whenever land allocation, ZEMA has to be involved. A Minister of Lands has to be involved. The Minister of Green Economy, which has just come on board, it has to be involved. So that at least, by the time there are subdivision and the like, at least people will be satisfied to say, this land that I've acquired, it won't bring up other issues in the future. And the government should find the alternative, lasting solutions, actually, to help the citizen. Whatever that you are going to suggest, to say, guys, let us work together in order
to see this green economy to be effective, if they have other things that they are doing, they will rally behind you, the citizen will rally behind you. But if we are going to just come with suggestions, if we are just going to come up with bills that actually going to push the vulnerable to be more vulnerable, it is not going to help us. We are going to see a lot of people actually going to prisons, all because of charcoal burning. So let us source for those technologies like the technologies of making briskets, charcoal briskets from vegetation, the leaves, so that we empower those people. If there are other alternatives, let the government come on board. They help the citizen, because at the end of the day, they are talking about the taxpayers. So before they think of taxing a citizen, they have to ask a question to say, what is it that we are taxing this citizen? What does he or she do? Thank you so much, Brother Muna.
All right, so this is where we have to say our goodbyes. You have been so amazing. Thank you very much. And as usual, kindly share this video right now. Share it in 5 different Facebook groups. So we are going to be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Thank you very much, and have a blessed evening. Take care and be productive.